Go ahead and get started with our first NTT IndyCar Series post-qualifying press conference of 2019, joined by Josef Newgarden, driver of the number 2 Hitachi Chevrolet for Team Penske. We'll be starting on the front row tomorrow in second position, a new career best for Josef here on the streets of St. Pete. Josef, practice was I'm sure a learning experience and getting back into the rhythm of things yesterday as you went through the first day of the 2019 season, but what did you learn from yesterday that was able to help you out today in qualifying for a front row start?
Well, we had a decent start to the weekend. It wasn't anything spectacular, but we were top 10 yesterday, which was good. It was encouraging. But we felt like we were working really hard just to be in the top 10, so we needed to be better. And we took a big step this morning. I mean, I think for us, we were very fast in the morning, figured out how to get the car to turn, which is what we were struggling with yesterday, just getting rotation. And yeah, that led into qualifying. And I think all three of us were great. Poor Simon got really hung out to dry in the first session there, which was a shame. I think he would have been up there with us for sure as well. And then at the end, obviously, it's a great lockout to have Will and me on the front row. That shows that we found some strength today, and now we just need to make sure we got our race car to follow it up.
When you were going into qualifying, it's no secret that your teammate Will Power is the driver to beat when it comes to qualifying here on the streets of St. Pete and arguably at other racetracks as well. What do you work with him a lot in terms of feedback that you can share to hopefully best him when it does come to qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, it's just about executing, and he did a great job executing. He always does. I mean, we know that about Will. I just did not. The one time I needed to get the lap perfect, I didn't do that. And I had a little bit better tires than he did. I only had an out lap on my set. So theoretically I should have had better tire life, and I messed up the first lap. I had a pinch of the front tire into 13-14, and then it just wasn't clean the rest of the lap. And I tried to salvage it on the second lap and got a little more out of it, but it just wasn't quite there. So yeah, it always sucks. I hate pacing him, and then he nips me at the very end, but that's how it goes. It's give and take. We had last year. We kept giving and taking between each other in qualifying, and I'm sure it's going to be the same this year. But the real key here is that both of us are up front, and that's what really matters. I for sure wanted to execute better and get the pole, but we're both 1-2, and that's going to play really well for the race. So we can hopefully protect each other and ultimately get a good result in the race, which is most important.
Absolutely. Any questions for Josef? Yes, Graham. Starting front. There's a microphone coming right to you.
Josef, with Chevy engines locking out the front row, just how much has the engine improved since last year?
Well, Chevrolet did excellent, today and this weekend so far. We worked really hard last night to look at everything and try and get the most out of today. And without a doubt, I think 12 months later, we've really figured out a lot of the drivability of the engine and improved quite a bit. So percentage-wise, I don't know, but we're for sure better than where we were last year from a drivability standpoint, and Chevy's done a great job. So, we can't thank them enough for the way they integrate with us. Honestly, I mean, we work as a team to get the most out of the car, but Chevy's right there with us to match the engine to that, and today that really showed. So yeah, I was so pleased with where we're at so far.
Any other questions for Josef? Yes, Brandt.
Cars, drivers, even the asphalt here changes over the years, but it still comes down to Penske guys being really good. Why is that?
I don't know, man. We got a good group, I mean, it comes down to the people. Yesterday we didn't have the best cars yesterday. We just didn't. We were like I just said, we were scrapping to get in the top 10 yesterday. And so, we made a big leap today, and it takes people to do that. You got to put the right people together, and you got to be able to work through it every weekend. And I think we do that. I would say we do it the best. So that's what made the difference today. Going over everything last night and making the jump. And that obviously includes Chevy, like we were just talking about. The way they integrate with us is a big part of it. But it's people. You gotta, and that's Roger preaches it. But you gotta have the right people around each other, and you gotta have the right mindset. And I think that's why we got good cars around here. I think that's generally why we have good cars on qualifying day, and we figure it out.
Josef, thank you very much.
Cool,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now joined by the two Chip Ganassi Racing teammates, Scott Dixon driving the number 9 PNC Bank Honda and Felix Rosenqvist driving the number 10 NTT Data Honda. Scott, a 4th place, actually sharing the second row, I should mention, but Scott, a 4th place qualifying position for you in tomorrow's race. Your outlook on how qualifying went today, obviously very action-packed for you, but also just the strength of your team with such a strong start for tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess that was like Christmas, I guess. I don't know. It was scrappy. I think we changed front springs 3 times, front rear toes, the front wing. It was a bit of a mess. You know, we struggled to get the balance a little bit. Q1, I think we were knocked out until the infraction with Sato. Had a spin in Q1. So yeah, it was almost like first day back at school, and it was just a mess. But all in all, I think the car's pretty strong. You know, it's not real nice to try and piece together. So I think over the longer run, it seems pretty suitable. Guys in Q1, I think, got a little bit lucky with some fresher tires later on with the crash sesh that happened in that one as well. But we made the most of it. We could have been 14th, or we starting 4th. So good spot. Great to have Felix here. He did a hell of a job, and hopefully we can have a podium finish for both the 9 and the 10.
And your teammate Felix starting 3rd in tomorrow's race, won an Indy Lights here in 2016. Felix, how hopeful and how realistic do you think it is that you might be able to repeat here tomorrow afternoon?
Well, I think that's dreaming a bit much at the moment. I think already, like Scott said, it was a bit of a Christmas day for us today. Group 1 was just really messy. I didn't really have a lap, and I was really worried I wouldn't go through. Luckily, just made it through that one, and then actually got knocked out of the second group. I think Sato or someone got knocked down and for some kind of penalty, and luckily we came into the Firestone 6. Then actually pulled together a really good lap, probably the best lap I'd done all weekend. So it felt like we performed when we needed to. Fantastic to be top 3 already, and being next to Scott on the grid. As Scott said, I think we have something to work on, but the potential of the car seems really good. So just really good fun being up here. And then about the race, it's just about forgetting everything we've done so far this weekend, and just put that in the history books and aim for the race, see what we can do there.
Joined by another pair of teammates sharing the 3rd row in tomorrow's race. Actually, all 3 of the first rows are shared by teammates for tomorrow's race. Ryan Hunter-Reay starting 5th in the number 28 DHL Honda. Ryan, we talked a lot yesterday about how important it was to get the season started off on the right foot. Do you feel like you and the team have made some good progress towards that this afternoon?
I think we've definitely had very positive off-season testing, and we came in here and it seemed like it definitely transferred to our pace at St. Pete. Bit disappointed, obviously, with qualifying. We were pretty strong in the previous sessions, and we turned the fastest lap today in qualifying, but it was in the wrong session. So unfortunately, I just struggled on the used reds, really did. I really couldn't do anything with them. Felt like a fish out of water with the used reds. So we'll have to look at that and figure out what we need to do for tomorrow. But we're in the Fast 6. We're 5th, so we can definitely do something from there. It's a matter of getting a good, predictable race car for tomorrow. So I think we know what we need to do for it. It's how you get it, out of the setup of the car. So definitely a bit disappointed, but it's good when you're disappointed with being in the Fast 6, I guess.
And a career best start for Alexander Rossi in tomorrow's race, starting 6th, driving the number 27 Napa Auto Parts Honda. Alex, hi.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Alex, getting the weekend again off to a good start, I'm sure, is the way that you were hoping to start the weekend. But looking forward to tomorrow's race, what do you think we can expect from the field?
I mean, it's close. It's hard. I mean, I'm really pretty unhappy with the car. So the fact that we got to the Fast 6 is a bit of a blessing, and I guess it's a good thing when that's a bad day for you. So obviously Ryan's been really quick all weekend, and we need to kind of figure out why there was some performance drop off in qualifying and kind of what our issues are, because we'll need to improve it for the race tomorrow, because it's a tough one. It's long. It's going to be hot. So you need a car that you can really rely upon and have confidence in, and you're not guessing all the time.
And quickly, we'll introduce our pole winner, Will Power, driving the number 12 Verizon Team Penske Chevrolet. Will, your 8th pole here, the obvious question is, what is it about this particular track that you just seem to have mastered so well in qualifying?
Yeah, actually, I think it was the nap I had before. I had a really good nap. I actually fell asleep, so was kind of fresh, but it was a yeah, right. It was just a. I mean, it was a great. It's been a tough weekend. I mean, we were 10th in practice, and we've just slowly worked on the car and got it better and better and better. And by even in qualifying, we were making some kind of big changes. So by the time we got to the Fast Six, had a reasonable car, good car, obviously, and better on used tires. New tires, it was okay. So and very good on blacks. But yeah, I was over the moon. I really didn't think I'd get pole. I knew Josef had really good tires, and he had a similar car to me. So yeah, we're just happy for the team. We were on the back foot starting this weekend.
But naps are the answer apparently. A nap that you took before?
Yeah, oh
sure.
man, I did. I had a good nap. I did. It wasn't even stressing. I just fell asleep. It was good. It was my little guy was having a sleep at the same time. So
there you go.
It was good. Bus was quiet.
We've now learned the secret. Questions from the audience? Yes, Aaron.
For either of the two Ganassi guys, once the off-season anticipation is released tomorrow into Turn 1, the Fast Six is organized by a team. Does that mean you guys are going to play nicer? You don't want to hit the guy next to you, or will that change the first few laps, the first stint even?
Well, I think the golden rule is don't take your teammate out, and until then, I guess we're racing as anyone else, but just with extra respect. So.
Yeah, there's always lots going on. I think it's not just going to be Felix. The competition is really tight this weekend, so there's not going to be much give. And as always, there's a lot of built-up tension, I think, in the off-season. So Turn 1's definitely always going to be interesting.
Mary.
For Felix, you seem, from what you said, to be reasonably happy with your car. You made it to the Fast Six, and in Scott's car, I think went through a number of changes to get into the Fast Six before you actually ran. And your pits aren't that close together, so Felix, were there major changes done to your car? And what about the communication between the two pits?
Well, it's pretty busy when you're out there, but obviously we got the information from the 9 car, but I wasn't that unhappy. I felt I had a lot in the driving to go through first before I wanted to make changes. So it was my first quali session as well, so I didn't really have the confidence to change a bunch of stuff. But yeah, there's some stuff we can improve, but I was probably more happy than Scott with the car.
Patrick and then Matt.
I need an extensive answer from all of you, or Alex, you can answer it. What do you think about the fairness of that first session? It was very jumbled. That way we got 3-4 minutes of green flag time, maybe. Do you think that might potentially look at that rule to make sure that people actually get a chance to get a real lap in?
Yeah, I think they should, because in the past, everyone got one lap when that situation came up, because no one really got a lap on reds. So to me, I think in that situation, everyone should get a chance of doing one lap. And the rule used to be you had to leave the pit lane within 60 seconds and you got one chance. So we were very surprised to see when they threw the checkered.
I mean, there's guaranteed green in the final round, so I mean, it would make sense that there's something similar, but obviously it's above our pay grade. So.
Anybody else?
Only takes a complaint.
Think we're good?
Only takes the complaint.
Matt.
Okay, well, shoot me straight. You've won the pole here 8 times in 10 years. Were you really surprised that you won?
No, I was, yeah. I mean, it's not easy in this series. Anytime you get pole, you're pretty happy. Obviously, I like the track, but everyone's on top of each other. It's about getting it right for the session. It's come down to literally understanding the condition and really thinking on the fly with what you need to do with the car, because driving-wise, everyone's capable of pumping out a pole lap. It's just can you get the car in that window quickly through those first few rounds to understand the condition of the track. So yes, I was. The car wasn't perfect until the Fast Six on used tires. So yeah, if you've watched the times all weekend, you would expect that someone would say that, because no one has stood out.
Yes, Mark.
For any of you, I don't know who wants to answer this. Are the reds dropping off so much such that you're going to want to get off those tires as soon as possible tomorrow, or do they drop and then hold on after that?
Yeah. I don't think anybody's run them long enough to really know if they hold on after that, but they definitely drop off as they're engineered to do. So I don't know. Reds always drop off. It's just a matter of how much. We'll see tomorrow.
Josh?
Yes, question for Felix. You've won at Macau, and you've also ran a bunch of Formula E races, and you've won here, and you won at Toronto. So what is it about street circuits that seems to suit your style, and how does St. Petersburg compare to circuits like Macau and in Europe?
Yeah, this one is definitely a fun circuit. You know, it has a good flow, and I think everyone loves to come here. Honestly, like this weekend, I hadn't had an easy time. You know, I had to work really hard, as Will said. It's not like you're just up here by default. I had to work a lot on my driving, and I didn't really feel like I probably was worse off than I expected in the beginning. So yeah, it's hard work, and I wouldn't say I feel like some kind of street circuit master around here. So maybe next year.
Chris?
With all the rubber that's being laid down by the various series that are running this weekend, how difficult has it been to get the proper setup, knowing that as you go out more and more and more and more and more, there's more and more and more rubber laid down by different compounds, by different companies going on the same track?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a moving target, and you know, a lot of the decisions we make are very much theorizing, predicting what the conditions are going to do, and how the different series and the different rubber and temperatures and everything are all going to have an impact on that. So it's kind of what Will had alluded to earlier, is you have to be able to make changes during qualifying as the track, you know, obviously comes to us with the Firestone rubber getting put down. But yeah, it's definitely an always moving target, especially on these street tracks, as the grip level kind of improves throughout the weekend.
Did you have a follow-up, Chris? No. David?
The one I did in Q2. How did Newgarden get out of it?
Yeah, quick talk.
Since Wolfgang isn't here, I'll do the two questions thing. Scott, first of all, are you now happy that your car is in a good place after all those changes that you went through in qualifying?
I think it's still far from that. I don't know, we kept kind of like going in a circle. So we did lots of ABAs, that was interesting. But so yeah, I don't know, we're just really struggling to piece the corner together. Have had loads of understeer at Apex and just, you know, really chasing it on entry. So no, we'll have to think about some stuff for tomorrow. But the car's okay, it's kind of in the window, but it's just not fun to drive.
Right. And Felix, you know, you're within a quarter second of pole for your very first IndyCar race. Would you say that you now that gives you confidence that you're close enough that sooner or later you will be, you know, taking pole positions and you know, possibly winning races this year?
That's definitely the target. You know, I expect myself to be there at some point, but. As I said before, today felt more like a gift being up here than, you know, my actual performance. I would say we probably belong a bit further down the list, but we are, you know, there and abouts. But there's definitely stuff to work on. Yeah, but it seems to be the thing in this series that you need to really work for it. You need to hang on, and if you're lucky, you're going to be, you know, you're going to have a good result. Even in the race, it seems to be that way. So, yeah, never give up, I guess.
Thank you.
We have a question down front with Patrick.
Question kind of for Ryan and Scott. Guys like Felix coming in, it seems like every time a newcomer comes into this series, the talent level's just getting higher and higher. How much does that keep you motivated, let's say, through the off season to stay on top of your game, just to stay in the game?
I think we're, the motivation's there. There's obviously, we've talked about it, till we're blue in the face, how much talent there is in this series, and then guys like Felix come in and Marcus, and, it's all the way through the whole field. I mean, there's guys that could win any race, anytime, and, you have to always be progressing as a driver and with your team, technically. It always has to be progressing or else you're falling behind. So, that motivation's there for sure, and I think, it's there year in and year out.
Yeah, it's I think to get an opportunity, you're going to have to be pretty good. It's not like Felix hasn't been good in anything else. So it's inevitable that evolution. There's going to be a lot of young guys coming in. We saw that with Robbie last year, and taking the pole here last year. So it's I think this formula keeps you on your toes. The competition across the field always keeps you on your toes, and the teams. There's no small teams now. There's no really there's no bad drivers like we used to see maybe back in the past. But it's competitive, man, all the way through. You mess up a little bit, and you're going to be a long ways down.
Jenna.
Hey, Will, yesterday Roger and TC were talking about all the success that Team Penske is having right now across the entire organization, and they both said that it motivates you guys on the IndyCar side, and you came here knowing that you guys have to step up and keep up with the rest of the program. Is that accurate?
Not that you're not like you're thinking about that while you're out there, but obviously, winning the first 2 V8 supercar races and the last 2 NASCAR races, the team's firing on all cylinders. So the pressure is on for us to perform. Sorry, I got allergies. It's been terrible. We need to keep performing. We weren't happy with our street course performance last year, so we really focused on it in the off season, and I feel like we got definitely a nicer car to drive, and time will tell as we get to some of these more bumpy tracks, but we're hoping to be further up the front on the street courses this year.
Any final questions? Yes, we'll take our last question from Chris.
Mentioning Robert Wickens earlier, how good has it been for all of you to see him here this weekend?
Yeah, it's awesome to see Robbie here and see his progress. It's just it's such a travesty that guy is not here in a car, but he's working really hard, and just awesome to see him. He's probably the best guy I've seen come along in a long time, to be able to rock up and be a legitimate contender from the beginning and on ovals and everything. So really happy to see him, and hope he continues to progress quickly.
Yeah, I think his tenacity, his mindset just inspires us all. I mean, it inspires anybody that has followed the story. So absolutely great to see him here, and he's making huge strides. So it's great to see, and hopefully we see him back in an IndyCar one day.
Guys, thank you very much. Congratulations.